of the 1995 Indy Lights Series is now complete. A season highlighted by full fields, exciting competition, and plenty of action. The second half of the season, dominated by road courses, begins today on the beautiful circuit in Portland, Oregon. The spotlight has been, rightfully so, centered on young Canadian Greg Moore, who started the season with a record 5 consecutive victories, and Robbie Buell, Mr. Consistency, whose victory in the last event in Detroit kept him in contact for the series title. And there have been some other veterans who have shown well. Jeff Ward has been a pleasant surprise in his first full season, as have third-year drivers Buzz Calkins, Doug Boyer, and David De Silva. Others, like Pedro Chavez and Nick Firestone, have struggled in the early going. But the rookie class has been much less predictable. With more on that, here's Jan Beekes.
There are always some major questions to be answered when young drivers graduate into this higher horsepower and more competitive Firestone Indy Lights Series. So far in 1995, Mark Hotchkiss, last year's runner-up in the Barber Saab Series as it was known, has shown well on occasion, as has Mike Borkowski in limited appearances. Most disappointing, however, has been Barber Saab champion from 1994, Diego Guzman. Had a very rough start, but finally began to show his talent in the last race at Detroit. But the real surprise rookie performance for 1995 has come from Brazilian Afonso Giafone, who's been very strong on the ovals, and he leads the rookie point standings. He's been second at Nazareth, second at Milwaukee, and Afonso, after 2 years out of the car, did you think you'll be this competitive?
Not at all. I think before this season started, I set a goal for me that was try to run in top 6 most of the races, and I've been doing better than that, so that's why I'm really happy.
Now, what would be your goal for 1995? What would make you really happy when you leave this season?
I'm going to be really happy if I can end the season running strongly all the races, trying to run top 5 all the races. I think that's what you need to be noticed.
The guy is well on his way to finishing in the top 5, but there's another rookie who's been strong this weekend. He's on the same row as Afonso Giafone, and he's with Gary Gerald.
Well, Jan, that young man is a very impressive Canadian rookie, Bertrand Gaudin, who is filling in for Claude Bourbonnais, driving for the Players team, wearing Claude's driving suit, and yet look what he's done. He has qualified in only his second Indy Lights event here in the second row. I know you've got to be tremendously impressed, but now, is there pressure to succeed, to get a podium finish because you qualified so well?
Yeah, I hope so. Finish at the back of Greg. Sure, for me, it's a big gift, because never I thinking it's possible to be third on the starting grid here after a race in 14th place at Detroit. But I'm really happy. All the team players, Forsyth was fantastic, good people there. I'm the best happy guys in the world.
And keep in mind, this is only the first time that he has driven this racetrack. We'll watch him closely from row 2. Chris?
Thanks, Gary Gerald. The weather here in the Pacific Northwest, sunny and hot, a beautiful day for racing. The points coming into the second half of the season, Greg Moore with 122, Robbie Buell stands second with 93, then Giafone, Ward, and Calkins in that order. The grid for this event, Greg Moore for the third time this year is on the pole with Robbie Buell on the outside of the row. Row number 2, Bertrand Gaudin in just his second Indy Lights race, and Afonso Giafone. Row number 3, he ran 4th at Detroit, it's Nick Firestone alongside David De Silva, who was 3rd at Long Beach. In the 4th row, we have Alex Padilla with a new team this time out, and the rookie Diego Guzman. The 5th row, Pedro Chavez, who ran 3rd at Miami, and Buzz Calkins, who's been 3rd twice this year. Row number 6, Doug Boyer and Bob Doricott Jr. In row 7, Jose Luis de Palma, the rookie, his 3rd race of 95, and Mike Borkowski in his 4th race. The 8th row, Mark Hotchkiss, who was 5th at Milwaukee, and Jeff Ward, who's been 2nd and 3rd this year. Row number 9, Bob Reed from Commerce, Michigan, and Peter Fossetta Jr. out of New York. The 10th row, David LaCroix, the rookie from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and Cam Binder, a rookie out of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. In the 11th row, Dr. Jack Miller from Indianapolis and Harry Puterbaugh from Peoria, Illinois. The course here at Portland is 9 turns and 1.9 miles around. For a look at it, we turn to the 1991 Indy Lights champion, Eric Bachelard.
I think Portland is going to be very interesting because you can charge a lot in Portland. There is some long straight, you can pass in the straight. There is some long curb. It's quite demanding for the neck, but there is no concrete wall, so you can try very hard. It's a safe place, and I think we will have a very good competition for all those Indy Lights drivers.
The field continues to scrub the tires on the back straightaway. We'll ride on board in this event with number 20, Doug Boyer, the Redline Oil Lola Buick. Nice look from the nose cam on that machine as they come up to the turn 9 carousel. Also, we'll ride with number 88, Jose Luis de Palma, 2 cars behind Boyer. He's from Buenos Aires in his 3rd race of 1995. They are approaching the front straightaway, and they'll line up 2 by 2. When they clear the bridge about 100 yards upstream from Gordon Ensing, they expect to see the green flag. That's what was said at the drivers' meeting. The jump is to Greg Moore, and the green flag flies at Portland. The first big test as they scramble behind Moore is the festival turn right here, where they jam all of those cars into a very narrow space, but it looks like at slow pace they're going to get through. No, some contact. Chavez was sideways a bit as he touched another car, but they straighten it out. And look at the jump for Greg Moore, Jan.
Greg Moore got a great jump. I'm surprised they threw the green flag. Ooh, we did have a couple cars exiting the chicane there that did have a problem.
2 of the cars are off the line. We have the Bob Doricott Jr. car along with number 55 Cam Binder as they try to get that squared away at the other end of the racetrack. The rest of the field continues to move at speed. Binder backing up under the yellow flag, and Bob Doricott Jr. looks as though he is getting out. And David De Silva also off the course and into the grass, but he's got it pointed the right direction again.
Now, De Silva went off in a different position on the racetrack that was not part of this one here, and we understand now they're going to a full course yellow.
We saw the flat tire there on Binder's car, full course yellow with 3 of them offline here at Portland in the early going. The leader right now, Greg Moore, we're in the first lap. PPG Firestone Indy Light Racing is brought to you by PPG, world leaders in automotive finishes, sponsor of the PPG IndyCar World Series. By Firestone, America's tires since 1900. And by Texaco Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. Take it to the star. Welcome back to Portland. Bob Doricott Jr., Peter Fossetta Jr., and Cam Binder out of the event as we go back to racing. Greg Moore down the front straightaway, takes the green flag in the lead and sets up for the festival. Right behind him, Robbie Buell, and then 3rd place is Bertrand Godin, the teammate this weekend to Greg Moore. And again, the festival curve, Jan Beek, is very difficult and tricky, especially in a crowd.
Well, we thought the first lap that everyone got through, but then there was a couple cars at the back that did get tangled. It looks like this time everyone got through. The big difference this time is that Robbie Buell is right on the back end this time of Greg Moore.
Robbie Buell coming off victory at Detroit the last time out, breaking that string of 5 consecutive victories by the Canadian Greg Moore. What's that do for the confidence of a fellow who's been very consistent but unable to win to that point?
Well, you know, I think Robbie Buell has a really renewed confidence, but I think that did not shake Greg Moore whatsoever. He knew he really didn't have a realistic chance of passing on a very tight track, but here, Moore is really fired up.
Robbie Buell running in 2nd in the event, the native of Detroit. He's been a champion in this series as they come off the final turn and onto the front straightaway. 3rd place belongs to Godin in just his 2nd run at Detroit. I think he tiptoed a little bit, Jan Beek, started 20th, finished in 17th spot, brought the car home, but here he's kind of let it loose.
He really has, and he has done so by the advice of the team. They told him in Detroit, don't go for it, just get used to this car. If you do so, we'll let you go to Portland and turn you loose, and he's done just that. Of course, he is subbing for Claude Bourbonnais, who drove this car and was injured earlier in the season.
And he gets sideways on that turn, nearly swapped ends, it appeared, and that allowed Defonso Giffoni to close up just a little bit in the portion of the course, a series of turns they call the infield. There you see it is Giffoni right up under his wing as they come to the high-speed section of the course. Giffoni, a rookie, coming along very nicely, thank you. Exceptionally well on the ovals, but he's shown well here in Portland as well.
Godin has to be a little bit careful. If he's sliding that much this early, if the car is that loose, he can overheat the rear tires. Here is where Giafone needs to get a run on him to try and pass him going into the festival curves.
Momentum very important right here off that 9th turn, and Nick Firestone has joined that fight, so it's a three-way battle essentially for 3rd place. There's Nick right there. Kind of a star-crossed season for him so far, but he is settling down in the last few events to get something of a rhythm started.
Nick Firestone has been very impressive now that he's got out on these type of circuits. He likes these open circuits. It's the ovals, really, that kind of snaps his confidence. But, man, this guy is getting faster and faster. It looks really strong here.
So that battle for 3rd rages on. Moore is the leader, then Buell, followed by Godin, Giafone, and Firestone. We're racing in Portland. We'll be back. Welcome back to Portland. There you see the battle for 3rd continuing to unfold. Godin has it, Giafone wants it, and Nick Firestone is right there. Also in your picture, Diego Guzman and Alex Padilla. So it's essentially 5 cars fighting for positions 3 through 7, with Alex Padilla joining that hunt just a couple of moments ago. Into the twisty bits we go, and they're separated out a little bit here. Diego Guzman right now running in the 6th position. And there's Alex Padilla with a new team after taking Detroit off, rearranging his finances and his team loyalties, Jan Beekes, and coming to Portland to try it again. And Doug Boyer working his way through the festival in the 10th position right behind Buzz Calkins. Let's watch him from on board.
He's coming down here into turn number 1. This is about 100 miles an hour in this section, but then this turn continues, has to slow down right about here to about 80 miles an hour at the apex. You can see he really wants to get on the power here, then get set up as he works his way through turn number 3. The real important corner is coming up. It's turn number 4. This leads you onto the back straightaway. Ooh, he turned much earlier than Calkins, but let's see how it hurts him or helps him coming onto the back straightaway. I think Calkins had a slightly better line there. This is the fastest portion of the track. He'll actually go 165 miles an hour. Now watch this chicane. Let's see if he decides to go over the top of the curb or if he plays it conservative. Boom, wow, he went way over the curb there through the chicane. Now this is turn number 10, the most important corner on the track because it leads to really the best passing zone here at Portland.
About 2,500 feet of straightaway pavement there at the other end of that straight. There is the battle for 3rd. Godin continues to run smoothly in that position with Giafone locked onto his back end as they come out of the festival one more time. And Godin has really handled some good pressure in the early going here in Portland and now pulling away just a little bit. Giafone right now close, but not really a threat.
The guy who's really happy about Godin's performance is this man, Greg Moore. His teammate right now really effectively is driving a defensive position, holding everyone else. Wow, look at the gap between 1st and 2nd place. Robbie Buell not able to stay in contact with Greg Moore.
Jose Luis de Palma is running in the 13th spot. We ride with him.
He now works his way through turn number 2. You have a chance as the sun will shine in here on occasions. There you can see him change gears. Great shot of him working that wheel. Looks like he has maybe just a little bit of understeer, a little bit of push. This is turn number 4. Very, very important corner. As we mentioned, leads onto the back straightaway. You can see him reaching over there, changing those gears. He has one more gear change to go. He'll pull it back. Now he's in 5th gear. Reach, as we said before, about 165 miles an hour. He'll jam on the brakes here, do a quick shift, and then yes, right over the top of the curbs and get himself set up for turn number 10.
There is the race leader, who now leads Robbie Buell by 7 seconds as we check the Buick mid-race update. It is Moore, Buell, and then Godin, Giafone, and Firestone, followed by Alex Padilla, Chavez, Calkins, Borkowski, and Mark Hotchkiss. De Palma runs 11th, then Jeff Warden, Guzman, LaCroix, Boyer, and Reed. Dr. Jack Miller is 17th, and Harry Puterbaugh. David De Silva is a lap down, still running. The last 3 are out of the event. This week's PPG Premium Design Award goes to the car and team of number 20, Doug Boyer from San Luis Obispo, California. The red line oil entry of Summit Motorsports, Dave Breeze, is the crew chief on that beautiful machine. And after the penalty and the problem at the festival, he's trying to get some momentum back and rhythm, Jan Beekes, and that's hard to do sometimes.
It really is. You know, he is driving the car that he ran last year. He has a brand new car for 1995, but he feels more comfortable in the car that he ran most of the season last year.
Doug Boyer currently runs 14th. Off the final turn and onto the front straight one more time. There is the race leader, Greg Moore, all alone on the straightaway. Jan, he's up nearly 9 seconds over Robbie Buell. You alluded to the idea earlier in the show that indeed his momentum wouldn't be broken coming off Detroit. Apparently that is indeed the case. There's Buell. Look at the space back to him.
He has a huge lead at the moment, and he actually calls this his home track because he's driven here so much. He's driven 10,000 miles, he estimates, here on this racetrack. And man, he has just obliterated the competition so far this weekend.
There's Alex Padilla, and we thought earlier, Jan Beekes, that was just the end of a safety strap, but a closer examination tells us it might be something different.
I believe that the belt is actually unbuckled. Yes, we can see the buckle that you tighten, and there, right next to the SP Aviation, you can see the actual latch that goes into the harness. These are 6-point harnesses, so now he has 5 out of the 6, and I understand that he is going to be black flagged because the turn workers have seen the same thing we have, and obviously that's unsafe. He's going to have to come in and get that thing buckled.
So he's going to have to go to the pits and fix that. Now he makes contact with Chavez in the festival and wrecks his front wing. I don't know if he cut the tire on the left side of Chavez's car at the back, but he's going to go to the pits for 2 reasons now. The first was by a call of the officials. The second, when he got aggressive over there in the festival. And we are going to go yellow at the course here in Portland. Dr. Jack Miller has also got trouble. He's off the course. Under yellow at Portland, the standings: Moore, Buell, Godine, Giafoni, and Firestone. We'll be right back. PPG Firestone Indy Light Racing is brought to you by Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. And by Valvoline, the #1 choice of America's top mechanics. Welcome back to Portland. We're under acceleration. There is the race leader, Greg Moore. A great break for him, Jan Beekes. 2 back markers between he and second place Robbie Buell.
That's going to make a huge difference for Robbie Buell. Remember, Robbie can pass as soon as the green flag comes out. It's not like the start of the race. Wow, look at Godine. Godine is going for second place. What a great start. They made contact. Oh.
Buell spins backward. Godine is through the festival, it would appear, cleanly, and Buell has been bumped out of second place. Here it is again.
He goes up the inside. I think that Godine had already decided that he couldn't make it, tried to get on the brakes, but couldn't get all the way behind Buell. Buell spins it, then thankfully keeps the engine running, but of course Buell can't go anywhere until everyone files through the festival curves. There he comes in. You can see the contact. It was nose to wheel. That's better than wing. Oh, we could have a slight bit of damage on the front of Godine's. You can see it shaking there. I don't know if that's the normal flex or if possibly he has damage.
So he did continue, and he continues to run in second place all of a sudden, and there is some damage on the front of the car as they come back around to the festival, and Godine's left front wing is down about 10 degrees. There's Robbie Buell. He is all the way back to 12th position right now, and in terms of the championship, that would put him 50 points at this moment behind Greg Moore in the championship race as they bunch up in turn number 9. Huge break against Robbie Buell.
Well, looks like Giafoni has made the move. Now we see Nick Firestone trying to come past. Oh, look, he's got a big problem. The wing is starting to come off. It's going to jam underneath the tires. We saw that with Jack Miller earlier. Now, boy, if that thing comes any more loose, he's going to be in really serious trouble. That could cut down the tires.
They may ask him to leave the racetrack. Could be dangerous right now, but Godine is now backing up from the damage suffered in the contact with Buell.
The interesting thing is Godine is not certain why he's having this problem. He just radioed to his crew that he thought that someone was dropping gear oil.
Now he's off.
Boy, now he knows for sure what the problem is as he tears off the wing. Chris, that could be a blessing in disguise. He won't have any front downforce, but at least he can keep running.
Almost finished at Portland. It's been crazy in the closing laps, and there is the leader. It's Greg Moore, who leads Giafoni by nearly 10 seconds into the final lap. A bid for a wire-to-wire victory, and 6 out of 7 for Greg Moore this year. Moving back to the second place battle. It's a little bit of a fight right now. Giafoni has it. There's Nick Firestone running in the 3rd position. Borkowski, the rookie, is running in 4th. He gets to the festival. This is a battle for position as Chavez and Calkins are nearly side by side. Chavez has the 4th spot, and the 5th spot belongs to Chavez.
Contact.
And Calkins,
that's Robbie
and
Buell.
Robbie Buell is spun again.
Well, he has suspension damage this time. This time he's good. He's done.
and he will be out of the points in this race, it does appear. So a huge disappointing day for Robbie Buell at Portland, trying desperately to maintain contact in the championship with this man, Greg Moore. But what a driver he's turning out to be. Couple more turns and he'll have his 6th win of 1995.
There is the second points place person in the championship, and of course this guy is coming across to really take a big advantage.
And Greg Moore on the straightaway charges the line, fist in the air before he gets the double checkered flag. He has won at Portland. Chavez continues to run in the 5th position. Calkins all over him as they come onto the straightaway. Giafoni is 2nd, then Nick Firestone. Borkowski runs a very strong 4th position. Then we have Chavez and Calkins. I don't know. That's a photo finish, but I think Calkins got him by a half of the width of the wing. And a very sporting move by the man who's just won the race as Greg Moore picks up his stiffest rival of 1995, Robbie Buell, who was out of the race right at the end. The final order of finish: Greg Moore, Giafoni, Firestone, Borkowski, Calkins, Chavez, De Palma, Boyer, Hotchkiss, and LaCroix through 10. Then Godine. Buell is 12th, so he gets a point. Bob Reed, Jeff Ward, Peterbaugh, and De Silva. Then Alex Padilla, Peter Fossetta Jr., Guzman, Miller, Doricott, and Binder. Now let's go to the victory stand and Gary Gerold.
Well, after the brief interruption in Detroit in the last event, here he is back in victory circle once again. Greg, everybody had problems today, including your rival Robbie Buell. You gave him graciously a lift back to the pits. It looked to be almost a perfect run for you on a track where you put in so many thousands of test miles.
Well, that's exactly it. You know, we've tested well here. I've done many, many years of go-karting here, and, you know, it's a whole testament to the Players Limited Forsyth team. They just did such a great job. You know, Steve Chalice, Kent and Brody, my 2 mechanics, you know, they just did an unreal job. And, you know, I think we're going to carry this momentum into Toronto, where I think we can get a win for the hometown fans.
And he's taken another giant step toward the championship. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations to Greg Moore from here as well. This is the incident at the festival. It's Godine and Buell getting together. Buell was running 2nd at the time. He is angry about that and has taken some official action.
Well, yeah, first of all, it's unfortunate because it does take us out of the points chase with Greg Moore. I mean, until we're mathematically out of it, we won't give up. But his teammate is the one that hit me from behind. And so we're going to file a protest. It's going to be up to Chief Stewart how he wants to enforce it. But I would say there was bad judgment used.
Well, subsequent to the event, Chief Stewart Hank Thorpe convened a committee to hear the protest. It was denied. So the points are these. Greg Moore, 144.50 ahead of Robbie Buell. Then Giafoni, Calkins, and Ward, the top 5. Now at Jan Beekes, we turn our attention to the Buick power move of the race. A nice win it was with Chavez against Padilla.
Chavez comes up behind, then gets aggressive, comes right up alongside Padilla. Perfect textbook outbraking maneuver into the festival curves.
That was for 6th position, and Chavez wound up his day in the 6th spot. The Chevron Problem Solver Award goes to the team of number 24, David De Silva. They had hit the wall yesterday. Crew Chief Lou Sholem and his boys put the car back together, and De Silva answered the green flag today. Travel services provided by IndyCar Travel, the official travel agency of the PPG Firestone Indy Lights Championship. That'll do it from Portland. Our winner once again is Greg Moore. Our next stop is in Toronto. So long, everybody.